Today we're making this cheesy sausage croissant breakfast casserole. Hi, I'm Tara with Simply Made Eats and welcome to my channel. We are getting ready to whip up a delicious holiday casserole. It's one of my favorites. It's super hearty and filling. We've got croissants, sausage, and it's nice and cheesy. This one's so good. I love it for the holidays because it's really easy to make and it feeds a crowd. So let's get started. We're gonna get started by just chopping up a few ingredients. We're gonna first start with a large shallot, or you could just use a couple tablespoons of yellow onion. You wanna mince this up. Next up, we have 1 garlic clove. Then we're gonna shred up our cheese. I'm using 4 ounces of havarti cheese, which is gonna really melt nice and well. And then I'm also using 4 ounces of cheddar cheese because I want that sharp bite. We're also gonna be chopping up a few tablespoons of green onion. This is just for topping at the end. You could also use parsley instead if you'd rather. Next up, we have 4 croissants, and these are fine. If they're a couple days old and a little bit on the stale side, that is totally fine. It's not gonna hurt anything. If anything, it's probably gonna make it even more delicious. So what we wanna do is we're gonna go ahead and cut these in half, and then we're gonna cut them into cubes. We want them to be really easy to eat in the casserole. These are gonna soak up that egg custard mixture that we're gonna add in. It's gonna be so yummy. So we're just gonna slice these in half. Sometimes they're kind of tricky to cut. I'm gonna use a bread knife for this one. Kind of sinks in there a little bit easier. And you don't need to go super small with these, but just like cube size. Once we get our croissants cubed, we're gonna grease a 9x13 casserole dish with about a teaspoon of salted butter. We're also gonna preheat our oven to 375 degrees, and then we're gonna get started on our sausage mixture. Getting started with 16 ounces of a breakfast sausage. You wanna just break this up in the skillet over medium heat until it's really no longer pink. Then we're gonna add in shallot and our garlic and just give this a nice stir until it's fully cooked. Once our sausage is done, we're just gonna let it cool for about 10 minutes or so. If there's a lot of grease in the pan, make sure you drain that. We don't want the grease going into our casserole dish. Mine hardly had any, so I'm not gonna worry about it. Then we're gonna transfer our croissants right into our 9x13 greased pan. And it should really cover the whole entire thing. If you had smaller croissants, just use an extra one. Next up, we're gonna make our egg and milk mixture, which is gonna give it that custard-like texture and make it so yummy. We're gonna start off with 5 large eggs. Just go ahead and crack them right into a bowl. Does your family have like a go-to casserole? I love this one. I also always make my brioche French toast casserole, which is on the sweeter side. I like having both of them. Go such. If it's just our family, I'll just do one of the casseroles, but if we have a lot of people, I always make a couple. Next, we have 1 cup of whole milk. Let's pour that right in. We're also pouring in a 1/4 cup of half and half, which is just gonna add a little bit extra richness. If you don't have half and half, you could also use heavy cream. This is a little bit weird, but I'm adding in some Dijon mustard. It just adds like a little touch of tanginess, which I like. It's just about a teaspoon. And then we've got some salt and pepper, and we're just gonna give this a really good whisk until it's all combined. Once we have that whisked together really well, I'm gonna add in about half of our cheese. I like to save the other half for topping and kind of just press that down in there. We don't need to like whisk this in or anything. Okay, so our sausage has cooled off for like 10 minutes or so. I'm just gonna scatter this on the entire top of the croissants. You wanna just sprinkle it out the best you can and make sure you get all those onions and shallot out too, because they love to just stick into the pan. And then you can just use a spoon just to kind of toss everything around, or you can use your hands. It can just lay right on top of the croissants though. It doesn't need to be under them. We're gonna be pouring our egg mixture in next, so it's gonna kind of all be floating in there anyways. Okay, next we're just gonna pour our eggs right over top of the casserole. Next, we're just gonna take a spoon and just give this a really gentle toss. We wanna make sure that everything, especially the croissants, are covered in that egg mixture, but we don't want them to like start shredding apart, so just give it a really nice gentle toss. Some of it likes to just sit at the bottom, and we wanna make sure that those croissants really absorb everything. Then we're just gonna top it with the rest of our cheese. Just give it a nice little sprinkle. And this is gonna get covered up with foil, and we're gonna bake it in the oven at 375 for about 40 minutes. I like to add just a few minutes of broil at the very end just to get that cheese nice and crispy on top. And then if you're interested in prepping this ahead, you definitely can the day before, but just don't add all the ingredients together until the morning of. I just feel like it definitely will like change the texture of the croissants, and I don't want them to get too soggy on you. Then once it comes out, we're gonna top it with some green onion, or you can do parsley here. Once it's cooled off, just cut it right into squares and you can serve and enjoy. That's it, we're all done with this sausage croissant breakfast casserole. This one's so yummy. I hope you try it. My husband said he's gonna eat it for dinner tonight. Make sure to give this video a like. Make sure to subscribe for recipes every single week. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.